Okay, I want to do a really quick video. I'm going to kind of go over here. Sorry for my voice today. It's a little bit raspy because I'm a little bit under the weather. So I wanted to do a video on the process of doing our first extrusion as far as the assignment that we have in the extrusion problems. I think it's chapter 4 in your book. So here we have the holder block. Now I already created this. So I wanted to show you the process in going through and creating this model. So first and foremost, whenever we start Creo and we get in, we want to be sure that we set things up. And I'm going to start a new file here. We set things up so that our working directory is in the same place. So I've already done that. I have a working directory set up. So before you start a new part, so like up over here, when you start new, you want to make sure that you have your working directory set up beforehand. It's not an after thing. And then we're just going to start a new, and we want to start a part, okay? And we want it to be a solid part. And I'm going to give it the name that it has here. So holder underscore block. And I'm going to call it 1 because I already saved this other one in the background here. So I want to start a new one. And I'm going to hit OK. So now I'm going to have a nice fresh screen here. Now I'm going to maximize this window for myself. And as we come in here, what we need to do is we need to kind of know what we plan to do. So if I look underneath at my illustration, where is my really thing here? Yeah, no, maybe. There we go. Okay, so if I look at my illustration here for problem 4.1, they're telling us that this is going to be the front face. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create the profile actually starting all the way at the bottom here along this as I'm looking straight in this direction. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. And I'm going to put that on my front plane. So I'm going to minimize this and open this back up. And I know that when I draw my sketch, instead of starting with the sketch here, I am actually going to start by saying I know that I'm going to extrude an actual sketch. So why not go right into the extrude? And that's what you're going to notice we're going to be doing most often going forward. So I'm going to hit the extrude right away. And when I do that, it wants to know, okay, what plane you're starting off, what plane do you want to place this on? So we're going to go to placement and we're going to do define. And I'm going to hover over these planes. And when I do that, it'll let me know what plane it is. So you'll notice that it says front here, or it says top or right side. And I'm going to go on the front plane here because that's where I'm starting. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to fill this information in, and I'm going to say sketch. Now, if your sketch plane doesn't automatically come up, you can hit this button right here, sketch view. And then now we're kind of like looking like right at it like a piece of paper. And I'm going to start sketching on here. Now, because this is set up and it's like a really large screen right now, what I tend to do, because this is only going to be like a 2.8 by 2.8, footprint, I'm going to zoom way in, okay, way in. I'm rollering a couple different times. And here's the intersection at the beginning here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in that bottom left-hand corner with a line, and I'm just going to draw the profile that I see there. So I'm going to go up a distance, a little over, a little bit of a straight, kind of down like this, down, and then click back, and then middle mouse button to end, and middle mouse button one more time. Now, by doing that, you'll notice that I am zoomed way in, much smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of push my dimensions out here, and I am going to, oops, let me grab that, and I'm going to change them accordingly. So I need this dimension overall to be 2.8. Okay, so I kind of stretched it out there. I need this dimension. Actually, I want a height dimension, overall height dimension. So I'm going to create a new dimension. I'm going to click this top, bottom, and then middle mouse button over here. And this needs to be 2.44. So it's going to pull that up. Okay. And I'm going to here. I know it looks a little weird right now. That's okay. Then we're going to do a 45-degree angle from Actually, I'm going to wait on that because this is a little goofy right now. So I'm going to do a dimension from here to here, and that is going to be 0.8. There we go. And then I know that this is now going to be 45 degrees. Now it's a better time to do it. Otherwise, if I do too many things at once, sometimes it's going to get really skewed. So I'm going to do a dimension from here to here, and that needs to be 45 degrees. There we go. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the dimension over here. 0.39 needs to be 0.94. Okay. And I think I might, oh, this needs to be a 45-degree angle. I can't forget that. So this needs to be from here to here, a 45-degree angle there as well. Okay, there we go. So it looks like I have all the dimensions, and I like to, before I do an extrude, I like to check if all my feature requirements are set. And if I do that and I see only green check marks, I'm good to go. So I'm going to hit OK here, or close, and I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to go into the extrude mode right away. I don't have to tell it to extrude because I told it I was going to extrude before I started sketching. So I have to have a sketch to extrude. Now, I just am using my middle mouse button here to kind of, maneuver around. And right now it's assuming that this is the direction that I want to go in. I'm actually going to split this in the middle. So I'm gonna do a, what do they call that? An extrude symmetrically on both sides of the sketch plane. So since I was on the front plane there, what I want to do is I want to use that, and that's going to be kind of like evenly distributed in both directions. And then, so I'm going to click on that, and then this is going to be the overall depth, not just one direction, okay? It's going to be the overall. So if we look here and I go to the side, it's the full thickness. Now, when I look at the full thickness of this extrusion, it's going to be 2.8 minus 0.8 because either one of those feet on either side is 0.4, and I only want the section in the middle. So this is going to be 2 inches. Okay, so there we are. There's my base, if you would, kind of the body of my block. And I'm going to hit OK. That looks good to me. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my feet to the ends here. Okay. So I am going to do an extrude, and I want to place my plane again, okay? And I'm going to define it, and I'm going to place it right here. I want to look at the front of it, okay? And I'm going to hit sketch. And I'm going to then do my sketch view so that I'm looking straight on, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch the profile of one of the feet. So I'm going to go line. I'm going to go down here, and I don't want to click to anything except no midpoints or anything like that. So be careful not to do that. I just want it to be coincident there, and then you have to close the box, okay? Even though you're kind of putting it on the side there, you have to close the box. So here's my dimension 0.35, 0.33, and I'm going to change each of those to 0.4. Okay, and that should be all I need. So I'm going to just recheck my feature requirements. That looks good. So I'm ready to extrude. Okay, and then when I come back over here, I always like to kind of maneuver myself around and see which way it's assuming. So I don't want it to go out that way, right? I want it to go the opposite direction. So what I can do is I can either flip it up here by the number on the menu, or I can just simply click on that purple arrow. Okay, and now it's going in the right direction that I want it to go in. And I need that to be a depth of 2.8. Okay, and there it is. Okay, and once I'm like, okay, that looks good, I'm going to hit OK. Okay, that's done. Then the next thing I can do now, since this is the very same size on the opposite side, I can mirror this. Okay, I could redraw it and do the same process on the other side, but why? Okay, I'm gonna mirror it. So you'll notice that I have extrusion number 2, which is what I just created. I have that selected, okay? I have that selected. And what I'm going to do with that is I am going to mirror it. So right to the right of the pattern here is mirror. So I'm going to mirror that, okay? And it's going to say, okay, select my mirror plane. Okay, and I just need to reference the plane. So here's the reference, and I'm gonna reference what would be my front plane. Okay, so I want to select that plane right there, and now notice that it added it right there. So that it mirrored it about that center plane. That's why I put the center plane where I did, so that I could re-reference it back. Okay. All right, so now you'll notice that I have my 2 feet on either end. So the last feature I need to add is going to be the hole going all the way through. So I'm going to do another extrude. Now you could do a hole function here, but I don't really care for the hole function. Honestly, I like if it's bigger holes like this. When it's hole patterns, it makes sense to do them. And there's some instances where it's a little bit easier, but I actually like to extrude them. I think it's easier, and it's also easier to change them later on as well, in my opinion. So placement wise, I want the placement to be on this angled surface. So I'm gonna go to placement, define on that angled surface, and I am going to hit sketch. Okay. Then I'm going to hit my sketch view here, and now I'm looking straight on. And all I'm going to do is I just want to draw a circle there. Okay, that's going to be my hole. I'm going to try to get close here, but I am going to use the dimensions that they're giving us from the edges that they have there. So you'll notice here I've got a 1.3 diameter hole. This is going to be 1.5. And then dimension wise from this edge, as I look, I'm going to be 1 inch. Okay. And then we're actually going to go from this surface, this bottom surface here up. So I'm going to do a dimension from here to my center, and I'm going to go over here with my middle mouse button, and that is going to be 1 inch as well. Okay, so there we have it. There we have it. My hole is in place. I'm going to recheck to make sure that my requirements are good so that I can extrude, and I am. So I'm going to hit close on that and hit OK. Now, the assumption here always is that it's a solid, so they have it going in the opposite direction. I actually need to do 2 things here. I need to change the direction here, okay? But it's solid, okay? And I want to remove material, okay? Oopsie, I want to remove material. And I want it to go all the way through the part. So the depth here, I'm going to set to, what does it say when it goes here? Extrude to through all surfaces. So I'm going to click this. And when I do that, notice that it's all the way through, you know, the bottom here, okay? And that's it, okay, okay. So now I have my part. I'm gonna kind of zoom in here, and I'm gonna put it on standard orientation. See how that looks. Now, I wanna have some sort of an orientation where I can see that the hole went all the way through or show all the features. And so what I want you to do is just kind of maneuver this, and something like this looks pretty good. And what I need you to do, and I'm going to zoom in and maybe go a little bit closer here, and then to hand this in to create kind of that snapshot, you're going to use your Windows Shift S. And what I'd like you to do, make sure when you do this, is I need your model tree in there as well. So I want to see the model tree, because when I look at that model tree, if there are any little rectangles next to any one of these extrudes, I know they're not fully defined, okay, or completely constrained. So that's what I look for to make sure that you completed it and that it's good geometry. Okay, so that is your problem 4.1. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this helps. Stop sharing. I'm going to stop recording, and I should be all set.